I wanted to do a pin spotlight today, but one that's slightly different than normal because this is not an actual Disney pin, but rather a Disney fantasy pin. Fantasy pins are fan-made Disney-inspired pins, and they seem to be becoming more and more popular, especially with a number of small shops that are producing them. I only have one other Disney fantasy pin in my collection, and it is a llama potion pin inspired by the Emperor's New Groove. I made a little video on that when I got that, and I really love that pin. There are some people who are super into fantasy pins and exclusively collect them. Some people fully avoid them, but I like the ones that I find that do fit into my collections or that seem really fun and cool. This pin that I'm going to show isn't really for any of my collections since it is a Coco-inspired pin. I love the movie Coco, and there are actually very few authentic Disney Coco pins. Oddly, the majority of Coco pins seem to be from Disneyland Paris, so it's odd that a movie that's based in Mexico around a Mexican holiday has the most pin merchandise in France. So I'm excited to share this fantasy Disney-inspired Coco pin. So here is this super awesome Coco fantasy pin. This pin is from the Enchanted Thoughts Club. It's the first time I ever purchased from there. I mean, kind of obviously, since this is only the second ever fantasy pin I've owned. And this pin is in the design of a sugar skull or calavera, and it says Un Poco Loco. I found this shared on Instagram, and I decided to buy it in a pre-sale since the price was a little cheaper then, and just because I loved this design and artwork so much. So it's nice in the order. I think they include this with every order, this cute little Enchanted Thoughts Club button. And then they also included this note with a purchase where you can use the code CLUB15 to save 15% off of purchases. So coupon codes are always nice too. But I super love the vibrant, bright colors of this pin. The little details of the music notes at the bottom. Just a beautiful Coco-inspired pin. And on the back card, this also says it's a limited edition, and this is marked as limited edition of 28 out of 100. So I know that some small shops keep pins as kind of open editions where they'll restock them every so often when they sell out, but this one looks like it is a limited run. This is a little look of it off of the backer card. From this angle, it looks like all the detail there is black, but that's actually just the metal and it's all silver. But I think the quality of this pin is super beautiful, and again, I love the colors on it. You'll notice and you can tell that this is a fantasy pin because it does not have any sign of copyright Disney on the back. Some fantasy pin makers or small shops will have their own special back stamp on it, but this one is just a plain back to the pin. So not only is this my second ever fantasy pin I have, this is also my second ever Coco pin I have. This Recuérdame, Remember Me pin is the only other Coco pin I have. This pin is actually an open edition pin from the parks, but it's almost effectively more like a limited edition pin since it seems like this was in the parks for a very short amount of time, seems to have sold out quickly, and they don't seem to have restocked it. So the only two US OE Coco pins are this one, and there's actually one that is a similar design to this calavera, but this open edition Coco pin is probably one of my absolute favorite OE pins. The design is so beautiful, and what I love about both of these pins is the inclusion of Spanish. In undergrad, I double majored in geology and Spanish, so I'm very nearly fluent in Spanish. And what's awesome is that one of my research projects is actually in Mexico, so I get to combine my Spanish and geology. But I just thought I would share this pin because it is so super pretty, and also because fantasy pins for me are still kind of a newer thing. I'd be interested to hear from others if you collect fantasy pins, if you like to get pins from specific makers or pins like these which are from small shops. I do like it for these pins that are Disney inspired that kind of fill the gap of Disney merchandise that doesn't exist. And I also like this because I am un poco loco for Coco. I do have the Coco DVD, but what I gotta do now is watch it in Spanish since I've listened to all the songs in Spanish, and all the songs in Spanish truly do feel so much richer. So I'm excited to experience the movie fully in Spanish. Again, let me know what your thoughts are on fantasy pins, or also you can let me know what your thoughts are on Coco in general. I think it was in my Christmas Jammies video for 12 Days of Pinsmas that I talked about Coco and how even though the story itself is maybe not the most unique or novel, I think it has the most emotional impact out of any Disney or Pixar movie, and that's the reason why I really love it. But thanks for watching!